Hi, this is Jennifer from What If Wellness with another lesson from the Berry Patch. And this one is about storms and things that are going on that seem hard and scary at the time. And when you get through it and look back, you might find that there were gifts in it. And for me, we had a bad storm. Actually, there are two pieces of storminess for this story. One goes all the way back to why I didn't have the energy to take care of the area that became the berry patch. One of the reasons, or some of the reasons, or multiple, why I didn't have the time or energy to continue with all of my landscaping through the whole yard was when I first moved here, I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and my then husband was going to be the full-time employee, and I was going to take care of the yard and the garden and our son. Well, and I also had a home business, so when he came home I could do work, but I didn't need to do as many hours to meet the family needs. We had it all figured out, but you know how that goes. Sometimes you have to throw the plan out when things shift, and he lost his job and I started working full-time, and then we dealt with depression and I would say anxiety now, but I didn't know that then. I didn't know that word. And self-doubt and all of the other things that go along with challenging job and financial situations. So we just lost time, and then we ended up getting divorced, and so then I became the full-time single mom, working a job, also being home, also being responsible for the yard, and it just became too much. I had help, and I was very grateful for the help with some of the mowing, and that was fantastic because at least the very basics were getting done. But the weeding, the making things pretty and planting things intentionally, none of that was happening. And even taking care of the things that were planted intentionally by the former owners, not happening. So all of those things were a storm for me, and it was a long storm. And during that storm I started learning how to focus on the things that were most important to me, instead of also having all of these expectations of myself, of the yard, and things like that. And then an actual physical storm last week, where we had, I don't know, I don't know for sure here, but online it said that it was probably 60-mile-an-hour winds and really hard downpours, and just really, it came on really fast and lasted for a while and then completely disappeared. But in its abruptness and in its power, it knocked a lot of big branches down from the trees onto the ground. So when my son was ready to do his mowing this week, instead of making him do the cleanup and the mowing, I was trying to make it a little easier for him, and I offered to come out and help with the branches. And it was by clearing the branches that I discovered the berries. So sometimes, and I never would have seen them because I never go on that side of the yard at this time of year. Even with the dog, I've been staying off of it just because of the ticks, and or the possibility of the ticks. And I actually haven't had that many recently, so I should be a little less paranoid, or a little less, maybe less careful, I don't know, less paranoid, I think is the word. But I have still been, so I've just been staying away from that side yard, especially when it wasn't mowed. Now it's mowed, so I am going back there to get the berries, but I didn't know the berries were there. I didn't know there was a good reason to go back there. I figured I didn't need to go back there because there was nothing important there. So the storm helped me find something important, and something that I now value and in fact cherish, and I'm very grateful for, and I'm enjoying every single day now. So if I hadn't had that big storm, and if I hadn't offered to help somebody to move forward with something that they're responsible for, that they needed to do, or even something that I expected them to do, because we had a storm, and because I participated in creating the end result that I wanted, I found something else that I wasn't expecting. So all of these things sometimes seem hard or seem frustrating or uncertain, or even certain in a bad way. Like at first it was uncertain if the storm was going to cause any damage, and then it was certain that it knocked big things out of the trees. It didn't cause any significant damage to the house or cars or people, so I'm grateful for that. But it's just interesting to look at life from a perspective of how it's helping us, and to see what the possibilities are when you have that perspective. So is there a storm, a physical storm or emotional storm, or the perfect storm going through your life right now? Is there something that seems hard that maybe you can trust is the storm that's going to lead you to beautiful jewels, like I ended up with these beautiful, bright, red, what is the color? They're not really red, maybe magenta. They're the perfect colored raspberries, and I'm just so grateful to have this raspberry patch and all the lessons that it's brought me as I am enjoying them. And I hope that these lessons have been helpful to you, and I look forward to hearing from you and sharing with you in future times. Take care. Bye-bye.